Alright, thanks Barry. We'll just start by opening up a sheet metal trailer. It's a trailer with a whole heap of sheet metal parts. What we want to do is we want to just find out some of the new features in sheet metal. So here's our trailer. There's a number of things we want to do with this trailer, so I'll just switch configurations. The first thing we want to have a look at is the new Emboss command, and this is used for stamping sheet metal parts. You can see I've got an embossing tool sitting here, so we'll go in and edit the embossing tool, and what we want to do is we want to create a new sheet metal part based on this. So we'll use the new, or the add body command, sorry that one's not new, and I'll just call this Emboss. I'm adding a new sheet metal body to this assembly, and I'll create a tab on the bottom plane based on this tab, and I'll include the bottom face with an offset of, for example, 15 millimeters. And so there we have a tab just level with the bottom of this part. Next, all we need to do is we use the new Emboss command, and what we want to do is we want to emboss this sheet metal with the existing tool body. We'll use a 0 clearance. You've got option of specifying clearance. The thickness is already specified because it's a sheet metal part, although if it's a normal part you can specify a thickness on its own. And there we have created our new embossed sheet metal part. Now we've got two design bodies at the moment. What we want to do is we want to turn this tool body into a construction body, because that's actually what it is. It's a body that's used for construction. Now before we exit out of this part, I'll just turn on the rest of the parts in the assembly, and you can see we've got a bit of a clash in the bottom corner. So we might want to just put a cutout in the bottom corner here, and all I'll do is I'll put a line from, for example, there to there. I'll do that on both sides. There to the end of that, and then I'll just project without an offset this time. I'll just project these edges. Oops, got the wrong edge there. Close that. Specify which direction I'm going, and I'll just say through next, down. And I can finish off that. That's created my new embossed sheet metal part. So that's one of the new tools. Now I'll just switch my display to working. The next thing we want to look at is the ability to create deformed features over or across a bend. Now this is just a standard sheet metal part, and we might want to put a deformed feature around these bends. With ST6 it allows you to do that. I'll just select that face to remain steady. I'll unbend these other faces, and then I'll put a bead defined on this face, and I'll just define my bead with some lines. Give it some relationships. And I'll give it a height of 100 millimeters. I'll just position it somewhere like that. We don't have to worry about that at this point. Now I specify which direction I'm creating the bead, and notice I'm creating it all in the flat, and then once that's created I can simply rebend all the bends in this body, and it's created my deformed feature across the bends. So it's a very, very useful new tool to enable effectively creation of more stamped features. Lastly, we want to look at the ability for Solid Edge with ST6 to create sheet metal features in just normal parts. You can see this is just a standard part. It's in the normal modelling environment. So what we want to do is we want to switch over to the sheet metal environment, and I'll just go into the ordered, and I want to create multiple drawn cutouts in this case from this sketch. Now, new with ST6 is this ability to create multiple, or to use multiple profiles at the same time and in the one feature to create all of them. It just saves quite a bit of time when you're doing parts like this, and you can see there that that's created the boss all at once. Now we'll just switch back to the fender. This is another example of working with non-sheet metal parts but applying sheet metal features. For example, this fender here needs effectively a contour flange to come up off the edge there to enable it to mount onto this chassis rail. So again, we'll just switch to the sheet metal environment. I'll create a contour flange on this point, and I'll just rotate off a little bit, make it easier. I want to go from the end of that line, I'm going to go up 131 millimeters, and then I just want to come across 60 millimeters. Close the sketch, and you get your interactive extents dialog box. I don't want just to set a finite extent, I want it to go all the way around both of those flanges. And so it's created my contour flange quite interactively and very, very quick, even though this is a normal part, not a sheet metal part. And this gives us the ability to add sheet metal like features to parts that might, for example, be roto-molded, as this one probably would be. So we've now added the extra flanges. I'll close and return, and you can see how that just makes those mounting flanges very, very simple and easy in the context of this entire assembly. And I'll just bring back all of the other bits, and you can see the power of some of the new sheet metal tools that are available within ST6. So I'll hand back to you now, Barry.